He believed her words, but he also believed there was more to her story. Hunger made people brave. Fear made them bold. He knelt down and placed his basket on the ground. Inside were dried roots, herbs, and fish wrapped in leaves. He opened it so she could see. Her eyes went wide. "You may take some," Tyan said calmly. She blinked, surprised. "You are not angry?" Tyan shook his head. "The land gives. We share what the land gives." She hesitated, then stepped forward. She took a small bundle of food and held it close to her chest. "Thank you," she said. Tyan watched her carefully. Her hands were quick, but her movements were careful. She was not a thief by nature. She was someone who had been pushed into a hard choice. She took a step back, then another. Her eyes stayed on Tyan as if she expected him to change his mind. He did not move. When she felt safe enough, she turned and began to walk away along the river's edge. Tyan spoke then, his voice steady and clear. "You forgot one thing." She stopped. Slowly, she turned around. "My clan name," he said. She frowned. "Why does that matter?" Tyan looked toward the sky, where the clouds were beginning to turn gold and pink. "A name tells who we are. It tells what we protect. It tells what we leave behind." She studied his face, trying to understand. He said, "My clan is called the People of the Quiet River." The words hung in the air between them. She nodded once, not fully understanding, but feeling the weight behind his voice. "I will remember," she said. Then she walked away. That night, Tyan returned to his camp. The fire burned low, and the stars filled the sky above him. He sat alone, thinking about the stranger. His clan believed that every meeting had meaning. No one crossed another's path without a reason. He wondered what reason had brought her to the river. Far away, the young woman walked through the dark. The food Tyan gave her helped her keep moving, but his words stayed in her mind. The people of the quiet river. She had never belonged to any people. She had always been alone. The next day, the land changed. The sky was gray, and the wind was strong. Tyan walked along the trail that led back toward the river bend. He was not looking for her, but he was not avoiding her either. He found another footprint in the dirt. This one was deeper. She was coming back. Tyan followed the trail until he saw her standing near a fallen tree. She looked tired, but her eyes were focused. Tyan tilted his head. "You were hungry?" "Yes," she said. "But I also heard something last night, men talking. They were not from your people. They were moving toward this land." Tyan's face did not change, but inside, he felt the weight of her words. "What did they say?" he asked. "They spoke of rivers and camps," she replied. "They are searching for something. Or someone." Tyan nodded slowly. His clan needed to know this. "You did not have to come back," he said. She looked down. "You told me your name." No one ever gives their name to a stranger. Tyan smiled, just a little. A name is a bridge, he said. You chose to walk back across it. They stood in silence, listening to the wind. The land felt different now. The quiet had changed. Tyan gestured toward the path leading to his village. Come, he said. My people should hear what you know. They will not want me there. They will listen, Tyan said, because I will speak. As they walked, she asked, Why did you really let me take your supplies? Tyan looked ahead. Because how someone takes tells more than what they take. She thought about this. The path opened into a wide field. Smoke rose from the village fires in the distance. Children's laughter floated through the air. She had never seen a place like this. This is your home, she said quietly. Yes, Tyan replied. And today, you are a guest. She felt something warm in her chest. Not fear, not hunger, something else. As they reached the edge of the village, Tyan stopped. What is your name? He asked. She paused. For a long time, she had not used one. I am called Lena, she said finally. Tyan nodded. Lena of the Quiet River, he said. Her eyes widened. The story had changed. She was no longer just a stranger who took food by the river. She was now part of something larger, and somewhere beyond the hills, unseen and unknown, the land was already preparing the next chapter. The village stood in a wide open field near the river. Small homes made of wood and hides were placed in a gentle circle. Smoke rose from cooking fires, and the sound of people talking mixed with the wind and birds. It felt alive, warm and steady, like a heart that never forgot how to beat. Lena walked beside Tyan, her steps slow and careful. She had never walked into a place like this before. Every village she had known in her life had turned away from her or faded into dust behind her. This one felt different. People noticed her right away. Some stopped what they were doing. Some children stared with wide eyes. A few elders looked at her quietly, their faces calm but thoughtful. Tyan lifted his hand in greeting. The people relaxed when they saw him. They trusted him. His name carried respect, just like he had said. This is Lena, Tyan told them. She brings words from the land beyond the hills. The elders stepped forward. One of them, an old woman with silver hair and deep lines on her face, studied Lena closely. Words can be heavy, the elder said. Are you strong enough to carry them? Lena swallowed and nodded. I did not come to bring trouble. I came to return what was given to me. Tyan looked at her with quiet approval. They were led to the center of the village, where a large fire burned. The people gathered in a wide circle. The air felt still, as if even the wind was listening. Lena took a deep breath. I heard men talking near the river beyond the hills, she said. They spoke of camps and supplies. They do not know this land yet, but they are moving closer. Murmurs spread through the crowd. The elders raised their hands, and silence returned. Tyan spoke. The land always warns those who listen. Today, it spoke through Lena. The old woman nodded slowly. Then she is not just a guest, she said. She is a messenger. Lena felt her chest tighten. She had never been called something like that before. That night, Lena was given a small place near the fire. A young girl brought her warm food and a blanket made of soft hides. "Stay close to the fire," the girl said. "The night can be cold." "Thank you," Lena replied, surprised by how kind the words felt when someone said them to her. She sat by the fire and watched the flames dance. Tyan sat across from her, sharpening a small tool. "You could have kept walking," he said. "Many would have." Lena stared into the fire. "I have been walking my whole life." Tyan waited. He did not push her to speak. "My family left me when I was young," she said softly. "They were afraid of the roads, afraid of people who take more than they give. I learned to move before others could move against me." Tyan nodded. "The river also moves," he said, "but it still belongs to the land." Lena thought about this as the fire cracked and popped. For the first time in a long while, she fell asleep without one eye open. The next morning, the village woke with the sun. The air smelled of fresh bread and herbs. Children ran through the grass, laughing. Lena stepped outside and felt the warmth of the day on her face. It felt strange to stand still. Tyan approached her. "Walk with me," he said. They followed a small trail that led to the river. The water was calm, just like the day before. "Why does your clan call itself the People of the Quiet River?" Lena asked. Tyan crouched and touched the water. "Because quiet does not mean weak," he said. "The river does not shout, but it shapes the land." Lena smiled. "I like that." They walked in silence for a while. Then Tyan said, "You do not walk like someone who plans to stay." Lena stopped. "I do not know how to stay." Tyan turned to her. "Staying is not about knowing, it is about choosing." The words settled deep in her heart. Later that day, Lena helped gather herbs with the village women. They showed her which plants healed and which ones hurt. "Every root has a purpose," one woman said. "You just have to learn what it is." Lena felt like the words were not only about plants. As the sun began to fall, a young boy ran into the village breathing fast. "Tracks," he said. "I saw tracks near the hills." The elders gathered again. The mood changed, but there was no panic. Only focus. Tyan spoke calmly. "We will watch. We will listen. The land will tell us more." That night, Lena could not sleep. She walked to the edge of the village and looked at the dark hills in the distance. The world felt wide and full of unknown paths. Tyan joined her. "Are you afraid?" he asked. Lena nodded. "Not of what's coming." "I am afraid of what I might lose?" Tyan raised an eyebrow. This place, she said. These people. I have never had something to lose before. Tyann smiled gently. Then you are already part of us. Voices far away. Not close, but closer than before. The elders decided the village would move deeper into the land for a while, not to run, but to protect. Lena helped pack supplies. She worked harder than anyone, her hands moving fast. A young girl watched her. You work like someone who belongs here. Lena paused. Do I? She asked. The girl nodded. You smile like us now. Lena touched her face, surprised to feel that the girl was right. As the village prepared to move, Tyann stood beside Lena. You can leave, he said. No one will stop you. Lena looked at the people, the fires, the river, and the land that had started to feel like more than just a road. I am tired of walking away, she said. Tyann nodded. Then walk with us. They joined the line of people moving through the tall grass. The river whispered beside them, just as it always had. Lena looked back once, at the place where she had first taken the supplies. It no longer felt like the start of a mistake. It felt like the start of a home. And somewhere beyond the hills, unseen eyes watched the land that refused to stay silent. The story was not over. It was only growing. The people of the quiet river moved slowly through the tall grass. The morning sun painted the land in soft gold, and the air felt clean and new. The village did not feel like a group running away. It felt like a river changing its path. Lena walked near the middle of the line. Children walked ahead of her, laughing and pointing at birds in the sky. Elders walked behind her, steady and calm. For the first time in her life, she was not alone on the road. Tyann walked beside her, his eyes always watching the land. You look different today, he said. Lena touched her braid. Different how? Like someone who knows where she is going, Tyann replied. Lena smiled. I don't know where I am going, but I know who I am walking with. The words surprised even her. They reached a wide valley by the afternoon. Trees stood in a half circle, and a small stream cut through the center like a silver thread. The elders decided this would be their resting place. Homes were set up. Fires were lit. The land slowly filled with the sounds of life again. Lena helped gather wood. A young boy named Nico followed her, carrying sticks that were almost too big for his arms. Why did you come here? He asked. Lena thought for a moment. I was hungry. Nico frowned. That's a small reason, Lena laughed. It was a big hunger. Nico nodded seriously. I think you stayed for a bigger reason. Lena did not answer, but she felt something warm in her chest. That evening, the elders called everyone to sit near the fire. The sky was turning deep blue, and stars began to appear. The old woman with silver hair stood. The land has been quiet for many years, she said. But quiet does not mean empty. Others walk this world. We must remember who we are. She turned to Lena. You came as a stranger, the elder said, but you chose to return. That is the first step of belonging. Lena felt every eye on her. Her heart beat fast, but she did not look away. The elder placed a small stone in Lena's hand. It was smooth and cool. "This stone comes from the quiet river," she said. "Carry it. Let it remind you that every path leaves a mark, even if you cannot see it." Lena closed her fingers around the stone. It felt heavy in a good way. Later, Lena sat by the stream, watching the water move around the rocks. Tyan joined her. "You were brave tonight," he said. "I was scared," Lena admitted. Tyan smiled. Brave and scared often walk together. They sat in silence. Lena finally asked, "Why do you trust me?" Tyan looked at the stars. "Because you came back when you did not have to." Lena nodded. "No one ever noticed when I came back before." Tyan looked at her then. "We notice." The words stayed with her long after he walked away. The next morning, Lena woke early. She followed the sound of soft singing and found the elders near the stream. They were placing small sticks in the water, letting them float away. "What are you doing?" Lena asked. "Sending thanks," one elder said, "for another day." Lena picked up a small stick and placed it in the water. She watched it drift away. She did not know who she was thanking, but it felt right to do it anyway. As the day went on, Lena learned more about the people of the quiet river. She learned how they shared food so no one went hungry. She learned how they told stories at night to remember those who came before them. That evening, a young girl asked Lena to tell a story. "I don't have any," Lena said. The girl shook her head. "Everyone has a story. You just haven't told yours yet." Lena thought for a long time. Then she spoke. "I once believed the world was a place you had to run from," she said. "Now I think it might be a place you can walk with." The people listened quietly. Tyan watched her with a small smile. Later that night, the wind changed. It carried voices again, far away. Tyan and the elders listened carefully. "They are closer," one elder said. "But not here yet," Tyan replied. The village stayed calm, but alert. Lena felt the weight of the stone in her pocket. The next day, Lena offered to help watch the hills. She stood beside Tyan on a small rise in the land. "You don't have to do this," he said. "I want to," Lena replied. "If I am part of this, I should protect it too." Tyan nodded. They stood together, looking out over the wide land. Lena asked, "What will you do if they come?" Tyan thought for a moment. "We will speak before we move. We will listen before we decide." Lena liked that answer. As the sun began to fall, Lena saw something in the distance, a shape moving between the hills. Her heart jumped. She pointed. "There." Tyan squinted. He watched for a long moment. "It is only a traveler," he said. "One person? Not many." They waited. A lone figure appeared on the path. A man, tired and slow, carrying a small pack. When he reached them, he raised his hands. "I am lost," the man said. "I followed the river too far." Tyan stepped forward. "You are near the quiet river now." Then I am near kind people. Lena watched closely. She remembered how she had stood at the river, afraid and hungry. Tyan offered the man water and food. Lena realized something then. The story was repeating itself, but this time, she was not the one being helped. She was one of the people offering help. That night, Lena sat by the fire and thought about the path she had walked. She took the stone from her pocket and held it in her hand. It was still smooth. Still cool, but now it felt like it belonged to her. Tyan sat beside her. "You look quiet," he said. "I am thinking," Lena replied, "about how I used to believe I was just passing through the world." Tyan nodded. "And now?" Lena smiled. "Now I think the world is passing through me too." Tyan laughed softly. "That is a good way to see it." The wind carried the river's song through the valley. The people of the quiet river slept under the stars, safe for now. But beyond the hills, the land still held questions. And Lena, once a stranger, now stood in the middle of a story that was no longer just about survival. It was about belonging. It was about choosing to stay. And the next choice would be the hardest one yet. The morning sun rose slowly over the valley. Light touched the tops of the trees first, then slid down into the quiet camp of the people of the quiet river. Smoke lifted gently from the fires, and the sound of soft voices filled the air. Lena woke before most of the village. She sat up and listened to the world around her. Birds sang, the stream whispered, the land felt alive, like it was breathing with her. She stepped outside and walked toward the river. The smooth stone the elder had given her rested in her hand. She turned it over, feeling every curve. Once, she had carried only fear in her pockets. Now, she carried a memory. Tyan stood near the water, watching the river move. "You always wake early," Lena said. Tyan smiled. "The river does not wait for anyone." Lena stood beside him. "Neither does life." They both laughed quietly. Later that morning, the elders called everyone together. The air felt different, heavy but calm. The old woman with silver hair spoke. "Eh? The land has given us many signs," she said. "Some we understand. Some we do not. Today, we choose how we walk forward." She looked at the hills in the distance. "We cannot hide forever," she continued. "But we do not need to face the world with fear." The people nodded. Tyan stepped forward. "We will stay near the river," he said. "We will keep our ways." "We will keep our doors open, but our eyes open too." The village agreed. Lena felt a quiet pride rise inside her. That afternoon, a small group of travelers appeared near the edge of the valley. They walked slowly, not as people searching for trouble, but as people searching for answers. Tyan and a few elders walked out to meet them. Lena stood back, watching. The travelers stopped a short distance away. One of them spoke. "We follow the river," the man said. "We are looking for a place to rest." Tyan nodded. "You have found a quiet one." The man looked around at the valley, the trees, and the village behind Tyan. "May we stay for a night?" he asked. The elders exchanged glances. Tyann answered, "You may stay, but you will walk with respect on this land." The travelers agreed. Lena felt her heart beat faster. This moment felt important. That night, the fire burned bright in the center of the camp. The travelers sat with the people of the quiet river. Food was shared. Stories were told. Lena listened closely. One traveler spoke about long roads and lost homes. Another spoke about finding new places to belong. Lena realized something. Everyone at the fire was searching for the same thing, even if they used different words. A place to feel safe, a place to feel seen, a place to stay. Later, Lena walked away from the fire. She needed a moment alone. She walked to the river and sat on a rock. The water reflected the stars like broken pieces of light. Tyann joined her again. "You look thoughtful," he said. "I am," Lena replied. "I used to think belonging meant someone letting you stay." Tyann nodded. "And now?" "Now, I think belonging means choosing to stay," Lena said. "Even when it is easier to leave." Tyann smiled. "That is a hard lesson, but a good one." Lena held up the stone. "I carried this because the elder told me every path leaves a mark," she said. "I think I finally understand. The path also leaves a mark on us." Tyann looked at her with respect. "You have learned the way of the quiet river." The next morning, the travelers prepared to leave. One of them came to Lena. "You have a good place here," the woman said. "Not everyone finds that." Lena smiled. "I did not find it," she said. "I walked into it by accident," the woman laughed. "That is how the best places are found." The travelers waved goodbye and walked back toward the hills. Lena watched them disappear. For the first time in her life, she did not feel the pull to follow. That afternoon, the elders called Lena forward. The old woman held a small woven band in her hands. "You came to us without a name that carried weight," the elder said, "but you have walked with us. You have listened. You have stayed." The village was quiet. "We do not give names easily," the elder continued. "Names are promises." Lena's heart beat fast. The elder tied the woven band gently around Lena's wrist. "From this day," she said, "you walk as Lena of the quiet river." Lena felt her eyes fill with tears. Tyann stepped forward. "Welcome home," he said. The people smiled and nodded. Lena pressed her hand to her chest. She had never owned a word like that before. Home. As the sun began to fall, Lena walked through the village. Children ran past her, laughing. Elders sat and talked. Fires burned low and warm. Everything felt simple. Everything felt full. She found Tyann standing near the edge of the valley, looking out at the land. "What are you thinking about?" Lena asked. Tyann shrugged. "About how the river keeps moving, but still stays the same?" Lena nodded. "I feel like that too." They stood together, watching the sky turn orange and pink. Tyann said, "You know, When I first met you at the river, I thought you were just passing through. Lena smiled. So did I. Tyan chuckled. I am glad we were both wrong. That night, the village gathered one last time around the fire. The old woman spoke again. Stories do not end, she said. They change. They grow. They find new voices. She looked at Lena. Tonight, this story has found one. Lena felt the weight of the moment, but it did not scare her. It felt right. She stood and spoke, her voice clear but gentle. I once believed the world was a road I had to survive, Lena said. Now I believe it is a place I can help protect. The people nodded. Tyan watched her with quiet pride. Later, when the fire burned low and the stars filled the sky, Lena sat beside the river one last time before sleep. She dropped the smooth stone into the water. It sank slowly, becoming part of the river. She did not need to carry it anymore. The mark it had left was now inside her. Tyan stood beside her. You forgot one thing, he said softly, echoing the words from the day they met. Lena smiled. What is that? Tyan looked at the village, the river, and the land around them. Our clan name, he said. It is not just something you remember. It is something you live. Lena nodded. I will, she said. The people of the quiet river slept under the open sky. The land was still. The river flowed. And a girl who once walked alone now walked as part of a story that would never truly end. Not because it was written down, but because it was carried forward in names, in choices, in the quiet strength of those who choose to stay. She tried to steal his supplies. He allowed it, then said, You forgot one thing, my clan name. The sun was low in the sky when the Lakota warrior reached the river bend. The water moved slowly, shining like soft silver under the open sky. Tall grass swayed in the wind, and the sound of birds filled the air. This place was peaceful, but the warrior knew peace could hide many secrets. His name was Tyan, and he belonged to a proud Lakota clan that valued honor, patience, and quiet strength. He had come to the river to gather supplies for his people. The winter season was close, and every root, every dried fish, and every bundle of herbs mattered. He moved carefully, his eyes watching the land, his ears listening to the wind. The earth spoke to those who knew how to listen. And today, the earth was telling him something was different. Tyan stopped near a small tree. The ground beside it was soft. He saw a footprint. It was small, lighter than those made by the warriors of his clan. He touched the ground with his fingers. The mark was fresh. Someone was nearby. He did not call out. He did not reach for any weapon. Instead, he stood still and waited. The river kept flowing. The birds kept singing. The wind brushed through the grass. Then, slowly, a figure stepped out from behind the tall reeds. It was a young woman. Her clothes were worn, and her hair was tied back in a loose braid. Her eyes were sharp, but they carried fear behind them. She held her hands up, not in surrender, but to show she meant no harm. I did not know this place was yours, she said in a soft voice. Tyan studied her face. He did not answer right away. Silence was a tool his clan had taught him to use. In silence, people often revealed more than they meant to. The young woman shifted her weight from one foot to the other. "I am only looking for food," she said. "I have been walking for a long time." Tayan nodded once.